Good evening. At the top of the hour, this is Sunday Express on KBC Channel 1. This has been quite the weekend, both politically as well in the sporting arena. And those who are celebrating love, it all happened in this week. Now, as we bring this to a close, let's look at those stories that have been making headlines in the last 12 hours or so.
One party, two parallel meetings. Edwin Sifuna, Linda Mwananchi campaign rally tear gassed by police in Kitengela, leaving scores injured as Oburu Odinga's ODM faction pitched camp in Mombasa. List of my worries. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki says he is unbothered by ODM pre-election demands that they will settle for nothing short of the deputy presidency position. And Baringo killer brews. Deaths in quick succession as angry locals blame corrupt administrators for failing to shut down illicit alcohol dens.
Good evening once again. I'm Regina, Manyara, and my colleague on sign language is none other than Byron Abuli. We start off this particular broadcast with an update from the political scene, where Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki has called for an end to restlessness in the populous Mount Kenya region over the debate surrounding his position. Kindiki says he's unbothered about the demand by ODM that they will settle for nothing short of the deputy presidency in their pre-election negotiation with UDA, saying his record is evident.
Debate on the fate of Professor Kindiki if ODM insists on bagging the deputy president position as a precursor in the expected pre-election coalition negotiations with President William Ruto has dominated public discourse, particularly after ODM party leader Oburu Odinga said they would settle for nothing less. While addressing the public in Meru, Kindiki says he remains unshaken, calling for calm in the Mount Kenya region, largely seen as a region on tenterhooks.
Mimi nataka kuambia murelax. Mimi nataka kuambia mfanye nini? Mfanye nini? Mfanye nini? Na musiletewe wasiwasi na mambo madogo madogo yale watu wanaongea, watu wa siasa.
He says he remains focused on service delivery and warned opposition figures against polarizing the region on account of the debate.
Mwanasiasa mwenye akili anajua siku ya kuongea, siku ya kukimya, siku ya kupiga siasa na siku ya kazi. Ile kitu itatusaidia tukiwa viongozi wenu. Sio ile mdomo tutapiga, sio mikutano ile tutafanya. Ile itatusaidia ni hii barabara ijengwe ikamilike.
Confident about his record as the second in command, Kindiki appeared to tell off the ODM party, saying he would not give up the position.
Mimi ndio deputy president wa Kenya. Na hii kiti hakuna mahali kinaenda. Na tukitoka hapa, hakuna kurudi nyuma, ni kusonga mbele. Niseme nisiseme. Niseme.
John Jacob Kuria, Sunday Express.
Mufanye nini? Na musilete.
Well, that was happening. So much was also happening in Kajiado, and we'll bring you up to speed with that particular report. Now, DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua says the united opposition will this Monday revisit the office of the Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja, to demand answers and accountability on the probe into the attack on Witima Church in Othaya, which he claims has stalled. The opposition says it is determined to keep pressure on the police until justice is served. But in a quick rejoinder, the Inspector General of Police, through a statement, said the investigations are at an advanced stage, calling for calm. Here's Ian Nzive with the details.
DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua led a section of opposition in attending church service at PCEA Zimmerman Church in Roysambu constituency. Here, the former deputy president voiced his displeasure over what he termed as a lack of urgency in investigations into the Witima church attack in Othaya, Nyeri last month. He said that despite evidence pointing to suspects at the crime scene, arrests remain elusive.
Attacking a place of worship is a terrorist act, and all those who attacked Witima Church and other churches are terrorists, and they should face the law, because that is the right thing to do.
Gachagua further said the opposition will march back to the office of the Inspector General of Police on Monday morning to seek answers to the alleged slowness of investigations into the attack.
Kesho tutarudi kwa Inspector General of Police, tulikuwa huko 2 weeks ago, tukitaka kujua nani alipiga kanisa na kwa nini hajashtakiwa. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. all of us will go back kwa Inspector General atuambie wale walipiga kanisa ya Kristo.
But in a quick rejoinder, the Inspector General of Police, in a statement to newsrooms on Sunday evening, noted that the police had initiated investigations into the attack and were analyzing evidence to establish the circumstances surrounding the incidents and identify those responsible. The statement further urged members of the public with relevant information to come forward and assist the investigating officers. Ian Ziva for Sunday Express.
We are also preparing a report on what happened in Kitengela, where the Linda Mwananchi campaign rally attended by Edwin Sifuna ODM faction was cut short after police lobbed tear gas canisters in Kitengela, Kajiado. We'll be bringing her up to speed as soon as our particular report is ready. Now, President William Ruto presented his report on African institutional reforms at the 39th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of Heads of States and Government in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The report recommends scaling up of the African Union Peace Fund from the current $400 million to $1 billion, strengthening preemptive diplomacy and mediation, closing the early warning and early response gap, reinforcing norms against unconstitutional changes of government, and revitalizing Pan-African solidarity. Here's Abdiaziz Hashim with the details.
The report outlines practical measures to strengthen the African Union's response to peace and security issues and governance through preventive action, closer collaboration, and the use of emerging technologies.
It recommends a harmonized African governance architecture, Africa Peace and Security Architecture Implementation Plan to eliminate silos and strengthen institutional coherence.
The report presented by President William Ruto also proposes the operationalization of the African Court of Justice
and calls on the Commission to establish a dedicated support structure for the panel of the wise to sustain political dialogue in crisis situations. It further proposes scaling the Peace Fund from $400 million to $1 billion.
The president once more intensified his call for Africa to have a fair representation on the United Nations Security Council. Addressing a meeting of the African Union's Committee of 10 Heads of State and Government on the reform of the UN Security Council on the sidelines of the 39th AU Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Ruto stated it is time to address this grave injustice to make the UN inclusive and fit for purpose. The head of state further met with representatives from the African Export-Import Bank, where he highlighted the bank is financing transformative development projects, particularly infrastructure that supports industrialization at the Dongo Kundu Special Economic Zone, which will commence later this year. Finally, President William Ruto has reaffirmed Kenya's commitment to deepening cooperation with the Green Climate Fund as the country seeks to scale up financing for climate-resilient agriculture and low-carbon development. The president met GCF Executive Director Mafalda Duarte on the sidelines of the 39th Summit of the African Union in Addis Ababa, where climate finance featured prominently in discussions among African leaders.
This remains critical because Africa continues to face disproportionate climate impacts, despite contributing the least to global emissions.
Abdiaziz Hashim for Sunday Express.
Now, in the quiet hills of Paror village in Eldama Ravine, Baringa County, a sense of grief is evident as 3 families bury their loved ones in the same month. Even more disturbing is that the deceased succumbed to alcohol poisoning after consuming illicit brew.
The crisis in this little-known village in Eldama Ravine is no longer whispered about in corners. Its effects can be seen and felt as yet another grave has been dug, telling the painful story of a destructive grip of addiction and illicit brew. At the home of Kaisan Kirui, relatives gather, preparing to bury 27-year-old Kelvin Lagat. Just 5 days ago, Kelvin had shared a drink with friends in the village where cheap, unregulated alcohol is easily accessible.
Pombe imeathiri watoto wetu, tumezika wengi. Hata juzi tukasika ndugu ya baba ya nyumba ngambo hiyo ingine. Kuna neighbor kijana yake aliaga, amezikwa kwa sababu ya hiyo pombe.
After consuming the brew, he began vomiting blood before he collapsed and died. His death is not an isolated tragedy. It is part of a troubling pattern that residents say has become alarmingly common.
Nilikuwa naomba kwa na OCBD kwa sababu wewe kweli ni ofisa wa serikali, following the presidential directive yenye mumepewa, use your powers, clear these things.
In a neighboring homestead lies the freshly dug grave of Justice Kipto, a father of 8. His family believes he consumed substance laced with ethanol.
Hii pombe inakuanga inauswa kwa barabara kama take away. Wewe unakutana na pombe, huwezi jua mwenye anauza anaendanga na boda boda.
While some have lost their lives, others like Mark Chumba are living with the devastating long-term effects of alcohol abuse.
Unajua unapokunywa hii kitu, si ati ni maziwa unakunywa, na inaendelea kasi unakunywa inaendelea kupanda juu kwa kichwa.
Residents are demanding tougher action from Koibatek Sub-County Security Team to end the menace.
Iko kijana alikuwa anaongea hapa, alikuwa anasema anaenda kuandika petition apeleke parliament so that chiefs can have prosecutorial powers. My friend, wachana hiyo kwanza. Anza na petition ya kubadilisha sheria ya chang'aa ikiwe serious crime.
Joseph Wahungu for Sunday Express.
Well, from that in Eldama Ravine, we take a quick breather, but when we come back, we have so much more. And so for you, including on how Kenya performed in the HSBC Sevens that was currently underway, or rather still is, until midnight at the Nyayo National Stadium, with revelers as well as those who have traveled from all walks of the world coming to anticipate, or rather to watch Kenya play in that particular global showpiece. That and so much more up next.
Halo, habari ndugu. Unaongea na Joffrey hapa.
Habari Joffrey.
Mimi nakupigia kuhusu ile request yako ya kupata connection ya stima. Sisi tunaweza kufanyia deal, ulipe pesa kidogo tu na sisi tukuharakishie connection yako.
Utanisaidia sana bwana Joffrey.
Sisi tutafanya mambo iwe rahisi. Kwa kawaida utalipa 100,000 na utangojea siku mingi. Lakini ukitoa 20,000 saa hii tunakuconnectia ukuwe na stima hata kesho.
Natuma saa hii.
We, hao matapeli wamekuja sana. Connection ya stima hufuata process. Hakuna shortcut. Shortcut ni ya wakora. Malipo yote ya Kenya Power hupitia channels rasmi peke yake.
We mzee, hizo ni gani unajaribu kutufanyia?
Tumekuja kuwashika. Muda boss utamulikwa. Tumekuja kuwashika.
Tunatambulika kwa mandhari yetu ya kuvutia, tamaduni zetu, ukarimu wetu, vyakula vyetu, uchapakazi,
na pia kwa sauti tofauti za watangazaji wetu waliobobea.
Libengo liko hapa aka upcoming sponsor. Bila shaka hapa ni kama PDG, ma deep state, pia vile vile cartels.
Tunaenzi talanta za pwani, tunakuza talanta za hapa kwetu nyumbani.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tuko mjengoni kama kawa na wanangu wengine wawili.
Usikose kutegea 103.1 Pwani FM, stesheni ambayo itakupa fursa ya kupata uhondo kamili wa pwani na kuleta Wakenya pamoja.
Pwani FM, tafrija ya kipwani.
This is Sunday Express. Residents from Isulu and Bushiangala in Ilikolomani constituency, Kakamega County, are demanding fair compensation, transparency and meaningful inclusion by government on the extraction of gold. They also want clear structures showing how revenues allocated to the county government and the community will be utilized.
In Isulu and Bushiangala villages in Ikolomani, Kakamega County, artisanal miners are busy mining gold in small scale. Their usual routine, however, will soon be disrupted with the government's plan to expand gold extraction on a larger scale, having partnered with a private gold mining company.
Kazi kama hii inafanyika hapa, hao wenye wanafanya wapati kitu sana. Lakini yenye naenda hapo chini ikitoka ikiwe leaching ndio pesa iko.
Miners wapewe pia wahamasishwe, waambiwe hakuna kuvurutana katika hii biashara.
As anticipation builds towards the start of the project, residents want the government to prioritize fair compensation, transparency and meaningful inclusion in the venture.
Tunajua kutakuwa na relocation, but it has to be minimal relocation na ikuwe structured. And our people should be compensated well kulingana na rates zile ziko.
Watakompensate wababa kwa sababu ya title deed zao, lakini naomba pia serikali tuangalie sisi kama wamama. Wakati watakuwa na compensate pia wajue sisi wamama tuna kazi zetu za kufanya.
Further, they called for clarification on the environmental, health and social impact.
Hata wengine tunatamani tulale juu ya miti. Juu sasa vita imekuwa mingi. CS wa mining akuje atuambie map inafika wapi. Sisi hatupingi kampuni, tunataka kampuni kuja, hata ingekuja jana.
County tuna encourage walete technology mpya ya kumine bila kusukuma watu kwa mashamba zao, because mashamba hayako. Kuna mashamba wapi Kenya hii, mashamba yako limited.
The residents also want a clear structure on revenue allocation to the county and the community, as well as technical training opportunities.
It will be very good because now the increment of the royalty in terms of money, tutakuwa tumepata pesa nzuri yenye itasaidia watu wetu.
Watoto wetu hawana kazi na pesa iko hapa chini. Tunakalia hiyo pesa ifanye kazi gani? Nani atakuja kula hiyo pesa? Na hakuna mtu mwingine anaweza kuifikia.
Opito Chemtai for Sunday Express.
Now, from Kakamega County, we take you to Kajiado, where the Linda Mwananchi campaign rally, attended by Edwin Sifuna ODM faction, was cut short after police lobbed tear gas canisters in Kitengela, Kajiado. Now, the rally had brought together a section of Sifuna allied leaders amid a widening standoff within the Orange Party. The Nairobi senator, who had earlier attended church service at ACK Kisaji Church, Kitengela, vowed not to relent in defending the party's constitution and the internal democracy. John Kahiro with the details.
Sunday afternoon, embattled ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna and his bandwagon stormed the Kitengela town in Kajiado County as they intensified campaigns under the Linda Mwananchi banner. Shortly after Sifuna and his political allies began addressing the crowd, the political gathering turned chaotic after police officers swung into action, lobbing tear gas into the air to disperse the crowd. The meeting, which had gathered momentum, descended into a pool of confusion as the supporters scampered for safety. The commotion left dozens of supporters nursing injuries. Moments before the disruption, the Nairobi senator had accused a section of political leaders of orchestrating attacks on his faction's political gatherings.
Wakora waliingia kwa stage yetu asubuhi wakavunja mitambo yetu. Hadi kutuzuia tusiweze kuongea na nyinyi. Walisema hatuwezi kuingia Kitengela. Nataka mseme wasikie hapa ni wapi? Hapa ni wapi?
Allied leaders led by Vihiga Senator Godfrey Osotsi accused a section of the party's top leadership of political brokerage.
Sasa wale wengine wanajaribu kuuza chama cha ODM. Wale wachezaji wa kulipa wako Mombasa pale wamekula pesa kwenda kuuza chama.
Led by Embakasi East Member of Parliament Babu Owino, the leaders want that any unconstitutional restructuring of the party's leadership risks to destabilize ODM.
Nataka niambie wale watu ambao wako Mombasa sahi ya kwamba siku ya leo wako na chama cha party, wako na chama cha ODM, lakini sisi tuna wanachama. Wako na chama lakini sisi tuna wanachama.
The rally had earlier been preceded by a church service at ACK Kisaju in Kitengela, where Sifuna vowed not to be cowed, insisting that no amount of threats or sectarian nuances whatsoever would shake his firm standing in defending the Orange Party's constitution and the internal democracy.
Sasa mimi ndio nyinyi. Na nyinyi ni kina nani? Basi. Kwa maombi yenu nasimama hapa leo tarehe 15 mwezi wa pili mwaka 2026 nikiwa bado katibu mkuu wa chama cha ODM. Wamezoea siasa za fujo. Unajua Reverend, saa ile mtu umemlemea kila kitu, umemlemea akili, umemlemea maadili, hawezi tuma mtu wa kudebate, wanaamua sasa ni fujo tu. Hiyo ndio imebaki, wanasema sasa ni fujo tu. Wanasema mahali tutaenda watakuwa wanaingililia mikutano yetu. Mimi nataka kuomba wananchi wote wa Kitengela. Siri ni numbers.
The Sifuna-led faction has vowed to intensify campaigns across the country with what it describes as the mother of all rallies set to take place in Kakamega County on Saturday next week. Meanwhile, in Mombasa County, the Orange Party's political drumbeat reverberated in Tononoka grounds as the top leadership also intensified their Linda ground campaigns. In a scathing attack on who they described as party rebels, the leadership led by the party leader, Dr. Oburu Oginga, said ODM will not be pulled back by the few opposing the party's position.
We are not going to allow people to pull us backwards. Those who want to pull us backwards, we tell them, oh, no. Those who want to pull us backwards, we tell them what? No.
Na yale mambo ambayo baba alikuwa akiyapeleka mbele, sisi tutazidi kuzipeleka mbele. Lakini chama lazima iwe na nidhamu. Hakuna mtu mmoja mkubwa kushinda chama cha ODM. Iko watu wengine walifanya wivu. Walipoona ya kuwa kina Hassan Ali Joho wameingia wakawa katika serikali. Walipoanza kufanya wivu namna hii.
Oburu disclosed plans by the Orange Movement of forming a strong team that will spearhead the party's process of forging partnerships ahead of the 2027 general polls.
I have been given mandate by my party to proceed and negotiate with our partners in the broad-based government, and that is to start negotiation with President Ruto.
Chama kilinifundisha thamani na heshima kwamba kikishaamua kama ni Oburu ni Oburu. Si namna hiyo? Chama kikishaamua ni Oburu.
Naomba wale wenzetu watuambie mpango yao ni gani. Wanataka tuende na wa Munyoro ama wanataka tuende wapi? Hatuwezi kaa bila kukuwa na mpango kama chama.
John Kahiro for Sunday Express.
Now we head to Nakuru County, where one woman is redefining what it means to live with disability by using resilience, skill and determination to earn a living against all odds. Our reporter Aaron Marie brings us the story of Gladys Njeri, a blind and hearing impaired knitter from Gilgil who is weaving hope one thread at a time.
Langa Village, Gilgil, Nakuru County. A familiar sound cuts through the resilience, the steady hum of knitting machine. Born a normal child, Gladys' life took a sudden turn in 2002 when she lost her sight.
Huwa ninatumia machine kusikia na macho sioni hata kidogo.
Later, she also experienced hearing challenges and today relies on a hearing aid to communicate with the world around her.
Nachukua uzi ninaweka, ninashona, sweta nikimaliza, mimi mwenyewe ndio hujiunganishia.
But where many saw limitation, Gladys saw possibility. After losing her sight, Gladys joined a rehabilitation facility where she learned knitting skills.
After that nilishona miaka miwili nikamaliza. Alafu nikarudi nikaenda tena Irene Training Center. Hiyo iko Meru.
There, she was given an opportunity with a knitting machine that would redefine her life. Using touch, memory, and determination, Gladys weaves threads into sweaters and fabrics. Each piece tells a story of resilience. Living alone, she finds for herself, fetching her daily needs and running her small business independently.
Ni mtoto wa kujifanyia kazi na si mtu wa kuombaomba. Juu hata tangu nimjue mimi sijaisikia akiomba.
Yet, the journey has not been easy.
Mtu anaweza akaingia akuje aniambia nataka sweta. Mimi ninamwambia kama ni 400 ananipatia 100. Unaona? Anaenda mimi kutinda kutukia tu hivi najikuta niko na 200 watu wangu.
Beyond stigma, changing times have also worked against her. The knitting industry has evolved, and the traditional sweaters she makes are now in low demand.
Kama hizi hazina watu hawanunui, niko na nyingi, watu wanataka hizo zingine za uzi kidogo.
Still, her spirit remains unbroken.
Sisi walemavu huwa tuna kipawa nyingi. Hata kama mtu utaona hataweza kusoma, anaweza kuwa na kitu kingine anaweza kufanya maishani mwake.
Gladys dreams of acquiring advanced knitting tools, machines that can improve quality, increase production, and help her compete in today's market.
Kwa miaka hiyo yote 22 ambayo nimekuwa nikishona na hii machine, ilikuwa inanisaidia kulipa nyumba, kununua chakula, hata mavazi, na hata kununua betri za masikio. Ningeomba tu mkinisaidia, mimi ni mtu huwa anajua kujifanyia kazi, huwa ninajituma.
Her story is a reminder that disability is not inability. With support, dignity, and inclusion, persons living with disabilities can thrive.
Na pia wazazi wachukue jukumu ya kutoa watoto wao wenye wako na ulemavu, ndiposa wa create awareness ili watu wote wawe wakitoa watoto wao ndio wapate kusaidiwa na pia wajisaidie wao wenyewe.
For Gladys, disability is not inability. She's pushing for her dreams one day at a time. Reporting from Langalanga, Nakuru County for KBC Channel 1, I'm Aaron Marie.
A great story there about resilience and not just sitting with what God gave you, but making better of what you have there. Thank you very much, Aaron Marie, for that particular report. Now, a celebration of culture turned into a powerful lesson in global learning as students at Vine Spring Academy in Nairobi immersed themselves in Japanese art, music, and tradition. The Japan Cultural Day event brought together educators and diplomats, highlighting how international exchange programs are shaping education and strengthening ties between Kenya and Japan.
Japanese melodies echo across a Kenyan school courtyard as students take part in a celebration that blends culture with learning. Through music, traditional attire, and symbolic performances, the event offered learners a rare opportunity to experience a culture beyond their own. Moments of discipline and precision reflected values often associated with Japanese tradition: focus, respect, and balance. Organizers say such exposure aligns with Kenya's competency-based curriculum, which emphasizes practical skills, creativity, and global awareness.
There are some things that we have learned from them, especially in innovation and part of the creative science, which actually will cultivate the interest of our children and make them even better to have a greater country the days to come.
Kenyan culture was equally on display, reinforcing the idea that the cultural exchange is mutual. The Japanese embassy says the program is part of ongoing efforts to expand cultural and language partnerships across schools in the country.
I'm sure that this young student, after they grow, obviously they will be like our country, not only our countries, even others countries, and they can make some good relationship with Kenya.
Beyond diplomacy, officials say such interactions can open doors to future academic and professional opportunities.
They are so amazing. Their culture is so amazing. Their food and everything they do, it's so amazing.
According to the CBC system, I believe that our students are going to learn more, and especially even having the foreign language, the CBC is in line with this.
As Kenya deepens our ties with global partners, classrooms are becoming spaces where culture and education intersect. Japan Cultural Day highlighted how international collaboration is shaping not only learning experiences, but potentially the next generation of global citizens. Ben Chumba, Sunday Express.
Yes, hello. Naongea na Jen.
Naongea na nani?
Yes, Jen, tuko hapa kwako tunakata stima. Hii bili yako hujalipa.
Ai, kwani mnakata stima na Friday afternoon?
Yes, madam. Tunafanya kazi kila siku, lakini usikuwe na wasiwasi. Hapa tunaweza saidia.
When the deal is too good, think twice.
Lakini kitu moja inanitangaza na wewe.
Hii ni kuhatarisha maisha yenu nyi wenyewe na pia ya wale mnaenda kutokea kwa manyumba zao.
We are diving into the mind. Stay vigilant to get safely and legally connected to the power grid.
Koti hii imewapata na hatia, na mkiwa mkuridhika na uamuzi wa koti, mko na siku 14 za kurudisha apili.
Na kama kuna mtu anakupigia akidai ati kwamba uko na deni, kata hiyo simu haraka.
Oh, kumbe mlikuwa mnataka tu mnione.
Tumekuja kuwashika, boda boss utamulikwa, tumekuja kuwashika.
You're watching Sunday Express. Hundreds of Hindu faithfuls gathered in Mombasa County for a spiritual festival. The event brought together families, youth and religious leaders in a day filled with prayer and acts of service. Here's Teresia Mutai with the details of that particular festival.
The usually calm surroundings of the Babs Shri Swaminarayan Mandir in Mombasa came alive with color, devotion, and song as Hindu faithful gathered in traditional regalia. The celebration marked the start of Akshar Purushottam Vadamna, a sacred Swaminarayan festival honoring the divine bond between God and his choicest devotee. Chants and prayers filled the air as devotees sought spiritual renewal. The day began with an Agaryatra procession where sacred murtis of Akshar Purushottam Maharaj were carried on a decorated chariot through the streets, spreading blessings and positivity.
Today's event marks what is known in our Gujarati Akshar Purushottam Vadamna, whereby what it means is we have a small idol of Bhagwan Swaminarayan.
Main message is how these songs and how our temples were built and how we should spread the message of peace and harmony in the world.
Inside the temple, rituals such as Prana Pratishta, Vidhi, and Ma Puja were performed, strengthening devotees' spiritual connection and reflecting on virtues such as humility, compassion, and self-discipline.
And after that, we've had a ritual whereby we are invoking all the good vibes, etc., before we invoke this idol into this thing.
So the significance of the Yatratra today was to take through Akshar Purushottam Maharajni Murti through the town. And right now we've just had the Pran Pratishtha Vidhi and a Ma Puja to symbolize Pran being placed into the Murtis of God.
The atmosphere shifted towards the evening, featuring youth devotional performances, while women and girls played key roles in organizing, preparing meals, and leading community outreaches.
BAPS is a platform where we can showcase our talents, like in people who know how to decorate well. During festivals like Diwali or Hindora, they can come. And then another talent which they could have is that if they're good at cooking, people can come. During Sundays, they can help doing food seva.
For many, the celebration was more than a festival. It was a powerful reminder of faith, unity, and service, values that bind the community. For Sunday Express, I am Teresa Mutai.
Freddie Kucheng, an activist from Marsabit County, has embarked on a 1,200-kilometer cycling journey from Moyale to Busia to create awareness on the dangers of drug and substance abuse. Ochieng, who has been on the road for 2 weeks now, stops over in sub-counties to sensitize learners on the dangers of drug abuse and goes to church on Sundays to create awareness there. Take a look.
Saturday in Isiolo County. We meet Frederick Ochieng on his bicycle bearing the Kenyan flag. His bicycle boldly proclaiming his message of saying no to drugs, save lives. He embarked on his journey on the 2nd of February 2026 from Moyale in Marsabit County, with his destination being Busia County.
Kwa maana taifa letu tumejaribu kuikinga na tumejaribu kuweka masheria tusije tukawa na bangi ya kupandwa huku, lakini unakuta mkora yule adui ya taifa letu anatoa katika taifa nyingine anaingiza katika taifa letu. Ndio maana nimechukua jukumu hii ya kusafiri kutoka Moyale hadi kule Busia, nifunge boda zote mbili.
For Cheng, he's cycling with a purpose, fueled by the loss of a loved one to drug abuse.
Nilipoteza ndugu, alipata kuaga miaka 2 iliyopita kupitia miadarati mkali mno ambaye inaitwa cocaine. Ilimuua na ni uchungu ambaye naona na singependa familia yote ipate uchungu ambaye mimi nimepitia.
So far, Ochieng has covered 529 kilometers.
Ninapofikia sub-county ama county, ninapata kuhudhuria mashule, kuongea na wale watoto na kuhamasisha juu ya ubaya wa miadarati. Ya pili, inapofika Jumapili, ninapata kuhamasisha wananchi wa Kenya kupitia makanisa.
He says that his past initiatives have led to action, especially in his home county.
2014, Ni ndoto yangu ya kuhamasisha watu kutoka miadarati ilipoingia kwa mawazo yangu. Nilisafiri na baskeli kutoka kule Marsabit hadi hapa Isiolo. Nikapata kuingia county assembly, nikawaomba waheshimiwa county, wakapitisha sheria. Na ikakuwa ni sheria ya county juu ya miadarati. Kule Marsabit pia nikasukuma, tulikuwa na the former governor ambaye ni Ukur. Akanisaidia na akapitisha na speaker wake, ikakuwa ni sheria.
Ocheng hopes to reach Busia in the next 2 weeks. Nancy Okware, Sunday Express.
Those who grew up in the 80s, I know we had a nickname for that sort of bicycle there that Ocheng is cycling, you know, 1,200 kilometers. It's not a short journey, you know, in itself, but then he's not using a specialized bicycle. He's using what we used to refer to back then as Black Mamba bicycle. And you well know, if you ever cycled on that particular bicycle, you know how difficult it is, especially when you are moving on rough terrain and in a, you know, in an upward trajectory, so to speak. So you can imagine 1,200 kilometers on a Black Mamba. All right. Indeed, that is determination. Now, engineers have warned that Kenya's aviation growth could stall if investments in skills and technical training do not keep pace with rapidly changing technology and global safety standards. Speaking during the Institution of Engineers of Kenya Aviation Sector Conference 2026 in Nairobi, IEK President Shama Kiteme said the future of aviation depends on the competency of the workforce as much as infrastructure expansion.
We must make sure that what we do here meets the global standards. We want to guarantee you we are going to be present when you need us to shape this future of the aviation sector.
So let us support, let us work together. Let the things which have failed us before, we must make sure they don't come in this time around.
To the counties now, the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers Kilifi County branch concluded their elections at Barani Senior School in Malindi. Tobias Baraka emerged as the new executive secretary of Kupet Kilifi County branch, taking up the role of the union's chief spokesperson, while Maurice Chiguba Nyale retained his seat as a branch chairman after garnering 1,159 votes to defeat Olima Vincent, who secured 892 votes. Dennis Pundo was elected treasurer, whilst Zakaria Kopolo clinched the position of assistant executive secretary, that is. This and other stories in our county news wrap.
The new leaders elected by Kupet in Kilifi pledged to unite teachers across the county, transform the management of teachers' affairs, and reposition the union for greater impact.
Nobody has lost in this election. We are all winners because we are going to work for you duly and with you behind us.
Elsewhere, Meru County Deputy Governor Linda Kiome is urging the youth to be more proactive in taking up leadership roles, both in the national and county governments.
Hiyo kazi ya kuenda kupeana maoni yenu, hiyo kazi ya kuenda kusema hii budget ya county ya next year, pesa ya youth iko wapi, munafanyia nini? That is the work that you're supposed to do.
Meanwhile, the Presbyterian Church of East Africa in Mwingi has distributed sanitary towels to underprivileged girls in the town as part of activities to mark the Valentine's weekend.
Kuwapea sanitary towel ni ile yenye tulionelea ni vizuri, sababu wasichana wanapata their menstrual flow wakiwa very young, na wengine wao hawana hiyo, wazazi wao hawana huo uwezo.
And more than 130 new mothers at Pumwani Hospital were filled with joy after receiving baby care packages and flowers in a Valentine's Day outreach organized by Nairobi's Broad-Based Women Group.
The majority of our mothers are very needy. Some of them have never received the flowers that have been shared today. And on behalf of the mothers who are admitted in our facility today, we say asanteni sana.
My name is Mary Maxi.
One, two, one, two, one, two, one, two, one, two, one, two.
Yes, hello. Naongea na Jen.
Naongea na nani?
Yes, Jen. Tuko hapo kwako tunakata stima. Hii bili yako hujalipa.
Hai, kwani mnakata stima na Friday afternoon?
Yes, madam. Tunafanya kazi kila siku. Lakini usikuwe na wasiwasi. Hapa tunaweza saidia.
When the deal is too good, think twice.
Lakini kitu moja inanishangaza na wewe.
Hii ni kuhatarisha maisha yenu nyi wenyewe na pia ya wale mnaenda kutokea kwa manyumba zao.
We are diving into the mind. Stay vigilant to get safely and legally connected to the power grid.
Koti hii imewapata na hatia, na mkiwa mkuridhika na uamuzi wa koti, mko na siku 14 za kurudisha apili.
Na kama kuna mtu anakupigia akidai ati kwamba uko na deni, kata hiyo simu haraka.
Oh, kumbe mlikuwa mnataka tu mniponge.
Tumekuja kuwashika, buda boss utamulikwa. Tumekuja kuwashika.
And thank you for staying with us on Sunday Express. It is time for the latest from the sports desk with me, Okocho Kumu. Now, Kenya's national rugby sevens team Shujaa finished third at the HSBC Sevens Division 2 Nairobi series, which concluded on Sunday at the Manyara National Stadium. Now, in the women's category, the Kenya Lionesses placed fifth after managing just one win in the tournament. Focus now shifts to the next legs of the series in South America next month.
The HSBC Sevens 2 Nairobi culminated in style at the Manyara National Stadium, bringing together 6 men's and 6 women's teams. Kenya's men's sevens team Shujaa produced commanding victories in the contest, registering wins against Canada, Belgium and Germany on Saturday before clinching a win against Uruguay today. However, Shujaa lost 21-5 in their final match that saw Germany top the points table at the end of this leg, with the USA second and Shujaa third.
Yes, we'd have loved to win this and give the fans something at home, but we know it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. We have 2 more tournaments, and I believe the boys will pick up the pace.
We didn't expect to win here, unfortunately. We can be really happy about the US boys win over Kenya, and yeah, now we are first, and we are really happy about this.
The women's team, the Kenya Lionesses, finished 5th after a 5-0 loss to leg winners Argentina and a 5-14 defeat against Spain.
Most of the games, if you look at them, if you just remove one mistake try, then we are back in the game. So I think for us is just cleaning up those areas and making sure we don't repeat the same mistakes again.
For us was to play our best rugby, which I think we've demonstrated, and leave Argentina on the best spot that we could have done, and that was what we did today and the whole tournament.
Attention now shifts to the next round of the competition, which will be held in Uruguay and Brazil next month. For Sunday Express, I am Daniel Wahome.
And well into Shujaa and Lionesses, wish them all the best in the subsequent legs of the HSBC Sevens. That's in Montevideo and Sao Paulo next month. Moving on to soccer now, where Gor Mahia continued the impressive run of form by beating host APS Bomet 2-1 in a tough Football Kenya Federation Premier League match that makes sure that they maintain the top spot in the Premier League table with 43 points. Now Ebenezer Asifua opened the scoring in the 7th minute for Gor Mahia, giving them the lead at halftime. Jackson Duang sealed the win with a goal in the 80th minute before Hansel Ochieng pulled one for the visitors, but it wasn't enough in the 83rd minute. APS Bomet defeat saw them drop to 14th position with 18 points, 2 places above the relegation zone. In other matches played today, KCB were held to a 1-1 draw by Kariobangi Sharks, while Sofapaka lost by 3-2 to Moranga Seal.
Is international, who puts the ball past the goalkeeper. Well, he goes in very nicely and with a low header. Gets it past the goalkeeper and past the defender, Paulo Chuoga.
And that particular win definitely got some people excited. Gor Mahia opening up the lead at the top of the standings on 6 points. And to marathons now running, where Kenya's Ezra Kipchumba Kering won the 11th edition of the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. Kipchumba crossed the finish line at Eco Atlantic City in 2 hours, 11 minutes and 55 seconds to claim the 6.4 million shillings top prize in Africa's only World Athletics gold label road race. Uganda's Lomoi Samuel clocked 2 hours, 11 minutes and 59 seconds to finish second, ahead of his compatriot Namutala Kefa Lumbasi, who finished third in 2 hours, 12 minutes and 25 seconds. In the women's category, Ethiopia's Dinke Meseret Meleka took top honors, finishing in 2 hours, 37 minutes and 36 seconds, ahead of Kenya's Philomena Cheyech, who finished in 2 hours, 37 minutes and 43 seconds. Ethiopia's Zewedalem Getau finished third in 2 hours, 38 minutes and 59 seconds.
In that pace, and this makes it even brilliant for him.
Welcome wherever you join us around the world. This is the 41st edition of the Zurich Marathon of Seville.
And they are showing that they are the best when it comes to marathon races. And he has made it to the finish line. Exchange of pleasantries from Bookman, all smiles, chopped on. What a race.
And former Muthaiga Golf Club captain Rajesh Babra emerged as the overall gross winner of the club's 2026 NCBA Golf Series qualifying leg, which attracted 270 golfers, including 16 juniors. This is after carding an impressive 72 gross of handicap 6, while Nancy Ndongo reinforced the seniors' dominance by securing the overall lady winner title after carding 86 gross, reclaiming the title she won in 2023. In the runners-up positions, Boshiera finished as the male runners-up on 77 gross of handicap 4, while Florence Maina, another senior golfer, claimed the lady runner-up slot with 87 gross, ensuring the seniors maintained a strong presence on the podium. Junior player Peter Mwindi posted 79 gross to take the 3rd position, while Dennis Muridi returned 80 gross to finish 4th. Golf notice, so we put a cap on Sunday Express Sports. But remember, there are a number of matches going on today. That's the FA Cup with Arsenal getting a convincing 4-0, a win that they did seal in the first half. So that means that they go through to the round of 16 of the FA Cup, as well as other clubs that have managed to go through, include Macclesfield, of course, and Brentford playing tomorrow, but Stoke City being edged out by Fulham by 2-1, and Wolves just doing enough to see off Grimsby by 1-0. That's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Coach Okumu. Back to Regina. Regina, you were at the HSBC Sevens too on Saturday. Yes. Definitely, it must have been electric and thrilling for you, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, it was. It was everything that Kenya embodies. You know, a bit of fun, you know, At some point, I actually, in the evening when the rain started, I had lost my voice because of shouting. If you ask me, the most intense game for Saturday, for me personally, was Shujaa taking on Germany.
How did you feel when Safari scored that death penalty?
Oh my God. Yes, it was... It was a very tense moment, and people around me were saying, we are calling on all the gods, including the witches from Kitui, and people were calling on everything, you know. We couldn't just end the day on such a low note after we started off very well in the course of the day. There was entertainment, you know, from various groups. The music was dope. The company was good. What I learned, Bernard, is that sports is a unifying factor. Right? And when you're seated on those pews, you know, the stands, watching Kenyans play, you forget where you come from. All you know is the flag that is being represented right there during the game. You forget who you are, who is seated next to you. You become Kenya. And I wish this is a spirit that we need to carry as we head in 2027, the elections. As you look at what is happening in the political scene, we need to be reminded that at the end of the day, your life matters, mine matters, where we come from really doesn't matter.
Yes, indeed, and great lessons. Maybe what I watched yesterday and today was that there's some great organization as far as ensuring that all those who don't want really to access the stadium, enter the stadium, they can still have their own time out there, you know.
At the village.
The village,
yes. There was quite some entertainment, and it's still currently ongoing. I can see it on the socials. Kenyans have thronged Manyara Stadium, the village, and they're still enjoying themselves. Tomorrow, Kenya is going to be playing host to the first Resilience Conference in tourism, as far as tourism is concerned. This particular Global Resilience Summit, Bernard, provides a nexus between sports as well as resilience in light of climate change. And guess what? We are having Jamaica come show us how they do it. So that and so much more, we're going to be keeping tabs on that as KBC Channel 1. So from me to you, I hope you enjoyed your weekend, given that it was Valentine's weekend. And I saw a certain meme, and maybe allow me to say it. If they saw you on Friday, it means you are the mistress. If they saw you on Saturday, you're the current hot lady. If they did not see you at all, it means you're the wife. If they see you tomorrow, it means you're next in line. How about that? I'm Regina Manyara. Have a pleasant evening and a great start to the week. My colleague on sign language has been none other than Bully.